Hey guys, welcome back to the Tough Love Podcast with Dr. John O'Connor. Today's podcast is sponsored by MedRay Laser and Technology. Looking forward to talking about successes in the routine today with my co-host, Matt Calabria. Matt, what's up, brother?
Not much. Let's get rocking.
You know what? About 28 days out from my 50th birthday, I have been, I basically called myself out last night. I've been keeping myself in probably above average shape. But now this last month, I want to dial it up and dial it in. And, we've had some crazy weather. It's been like Seattle, Washington out here, raining like crazy with flooding and everything else.
Like the 24th.
We got a total eclipse today. It's like apocalypse around here. But the reality is that what I realized is I'm getting back to my roots. And what does that mean? My roots in motivation as a coach and trainer started around, a motivational speaker by the name of Eric Thomas, and ET. And I would always love that, going to the prep school I went to and basketball college that where I played college ball and the street ball and everything that I loved. I loved that message. And that is a message I told all my athletes across the years as a professional basketball trainer, as a player, my kids. And, one of his, stories, motivational pitches is successes in the routine.
Right.
And I think with everything, and being my right hand in just about everything I do, the reality is right now, we're taking some punches, but we're in a heavy growth mode.
In a good way.
In a good way. And I think that what I would tell all the viewers that before, it's like there was nothing more amazing to me as a young kid was a summer rain. And then you went outside and saw the rainbow and the sun come out. And I think you appreciated the sun and that huge rainbow that much more. And I have to believe in that what we're going through right now, just losing one of our key players, in Christian and even the growth with the coaching business and social media and everything we're doing. I think one of the biggest things is to remember it's not the result, it's the consistency.
Right.
And the results will come. But if you keep changing stuff, and I tell my son that all the time. And today he responded like the podcast I send him all the time with Ed Milet and Sean Casey, that my approach was good. I didn't like the outcome, but I did everything right.
Yeah.
And I said, then, it was just
Can't
like,
be upset about that.
Yeah. It was just like when, this 10 plus year Major League Baseball player is talking about, he called his hitting mental guru.
Right.
And he said, you had 12 at bats, everything was right. You lined out, Call me when something wrong. And he hung up on him. And I said, I don't need to tell you to do anything. Right. You lined out twice to second base.
You did right.
You had a strikeout deep in the count.
Yeah.
You had a walk. Not every day is going to be your
game,
day.
I was always told if I popped out, terrible at bat. What did you do wrong? When you line out, can't get mad. You hit the ball, square the ball up.
Yeah, that's it. And, and today I think for our audience, I think the biggest thing is sharing what I'm learning now as I'm deep diving. I'm using I almost call it my motivational Bible in sticking to the details with Eric, with Eric Thomas's work, but I'm pulling in, like, I'm really deep diving on the Bedros stuff right now. And I've been pushing it to all of our clients and people that are striving. We had a huge business meeting this Friday at the Block. It's just our monthly social networking. And I have to tell you that, like, asking once you've given a quality product, immediate, not waiting to the end when they're already halfway out the door, and all these little pearls. And the same thing, like you were saying, 5:38 in the morning, and we start blowing each other up because you're at the gym, I'm on PEMF, I'm typing away, I'm making my first post, I'm organizing my whole food thing for the day. Now, I put myself on a cardio campaign. So I was speeding up. I had to carve off 10 minutes to get down onto the Versa Climber. And the reality is, if we didn't have that routine already pretty sharpened, we couldn't execute to that level.
No, there'd be no success in that. And
and you said it the other day with, like, you like that quiet time, right?
Yep.
You go to the gym, you don't like to shower here. You go home, you reset,
Yep.
you get that deep breath in, you make yourself a protein shake, clean it up, and you're like,
Get ready to rock. Let's do it.
let's go. You know?
100%.
So yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts on that? But I got to tell you, like, for me, it gets me happy that when I could put a group text out there and something that when you don't realize, because I know that we're around each other so much, you're like, hey, no problem. We did that on Friday ahead of you. That tells me the stuff that I'm pulling from these other guys talking about don't micromanage, teach them the lead so that when you ask them a question, they were already thinking, what would you ask? Let me be ahead of that.
Right.
And let me have the answer before you ask the question.
With the instant response.
And now we're moving forward instead of answering it, waiting. And now that's coming forward. That's time behind us.
Yeah.
Now we're not working in the present. We're dealing with past issues.
Yep.
So I think from that perspective, that'd be something I tell all my young business guys or people changing. We're pivoting right now, right? You know, we have patients come into us and, you know, on the one aspect, one of the many businesses that we're into, and, you know, that's been my career, right? Dr. John O'Connor, chiropractor, chiropractic physician, you know, healer, whatever people say, doc. You know, when we're dealing with the core four, it is, like I said in the coaching audience when I was presenting in Fort Lauderdale, they start out as a consumer and we educate them. And that is a collaborative effort. The coordinator meets them. The coordinator shares after getting a detailed history that we offer these amazing services. And then comes you know what I mean? Or one of our patient education specialists. And again, success is in the routine. We say this all the time, that when all those steps go well, the consumer becomes a person that they have faith or trust in us, because we're not sending them stuff that on the top is our letterhead.
Right. No.
It's from
we don't want that.
I always say that. It's from a research institution. It's from Mayo Clinic or Cleveland
The
Clinic.
biggest thing you say, you don't like when people go to the website. You like when they go to Instagram, it's all core four. But once they go to the website, they got lost. And it's all about the proper educating, which is what really drives and brings them in.
That's it. You know, and I think like anything else, it was funny. I was surfing between, I had more time today, so I do half-hour cardio. And the second podcast I was listening about today was when you're getting results and the patient or client experience or whatever it is, that interaction for the service you're providing, it is then you got to hit the pan while it's hot and ask them for that testimonial. Ask them to share that with their loved ones, their friends, their coworkers. And the thing about it is, these are people who are talking that are charging clients $100,000 a year, or they're 8-9 figure net worth people, and they're still doing that. They're still coaching it. And no different than, you know, when I would coach basketball and they're looking at my workouts. And I just had someone forward me a video the other day, and I think, it was UConn. You know, Danny Hurley is the son of an iconic New Jersey basketball GOAT. And I think all of us with those ball series, you kind of know where you came from. And, you know, my guys are all sending me the video, kids I train and girls, you know, and more of my girls said and say, hey, Doc, kind of bring me back, bring me home. And again, here's a team that's moving like old school John Wood and UCLA. And I have to tell you that it just reinforced that it's not about always the shiny toy, but it's about doing the little things perfect.
100%. Over and over and over again.
Over and over again, you know, and I don't care whether it's like Nick Saban, don't practice to get it wrong, just practice to you always get it right, or whatever he would say. And the reality is that when you're doing those mental repetitions and those physical repetitions, the confidence, the byproduct of the confidence that comes from that is the success, you know, that creates the journey. And then the monetary, you know, part comes later. You know, even when we talk about core four, you know, people are intrigued to like, when do you talk about the money? I said, that's a great question. I never do. You know, we talk about that with our coaching clients. I said, you know, I prescribe what I believe within those four modalities are going to help the patient. Sometimes it's all of them. Sometimes it's one.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not a candidate.
Yeah.
Then when the patient, you know, education specialist comes in, that's really for them to reinforce and say to that patient, no different than the director of basketball operations, head coach saying, hey, you got to do this. And then the skill development coach is saying, hey, we're here to work on this so we can get you in the game.
Yeah.
Well, when that second person comes in, I think that gives the patient this feeling like, okay, wow, this is serious. Like they really organized here. The doctor prescribed it. Now this person's coming in telling me exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Dr. O'Connor, one of our practitioners at the practice is going to say they find it to be medical necessity. I think you're going to get a great result, whether it's one time a week or one time for 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 24 weeks, whatever it may be. But the reality is that then from there, their knowledge, they've been given knowledge. And now, people say, pressure, there's no pressure. It's yes or no.
Knowledge is power.
And, and it's not like we're ambushing them or this or that, because I know, especially go way back to when I was paralyzed and I was sick and what medicine looked like back then. If there was something that would have fixed me and somebody would have educated my parents, my mom would have worked. She already had 2 jobs. She was already cleaning houses all day long and working in a restaurant all night long and doing whatever she could to provide for us as a family, alongside my dad, working, a county job, up at 4 o'clock in the morning, at work by 7 all day, and then picking up side jobs or after work, whatever he was doing. That's what we saw, much like your family. That's why it was a pleasure to meet your dad and hear the respect you had about your parents. It's that where those fibers come from that teach you, hey, when do you not work?
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
the
mean?
success and the routine's right there. And I want to revert back to our texting at 5:38. I was middle of my workout at the gym. You were on the PEMF getting ready for your day after your cardio. I'm a firm believer in, prepping, game prep, game day prep, get ready to win the day, right? And, my man Eric Thomas too, he's my go-to. I'll forever live down with this quote. If you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And that's always lived with me because I have the same mentality as you, not even out inside the workplace. I'm talking about life, workouts in general. So how can you explain to everybody that's listening right now, how do you keep that mindset of success starts when you first wake up to prep the day, not when you step into the office or begin to do your daily routine?
That's a great question. And I think all of us as business owners, everyone wants to think about the great times, but I like to keep the hard times in front of me and remember what it was when Hurricane Sandy shut us down for, over 2 weeks, or, there was a problem with insurance carriers, or, COVID, and remembering how important it was to stay focused.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that I see that's a common thread in all these practices that are struggling, I'm sure it would be similar across many business verticals, is they show up and by the seat of their pants or just, haphazardly, they go into their day. We have a strategy for every patient, when they're going to see ortho, when we're going to encourage ortho or pain management or some type of biologic medicine or whatever that may be, but that's mapped out. And I think the best example I can give is with our new practitioner. We circle around her like a wagon, like old school wagons in the Wild West. And when we get away from it, like we've been, that's going to be something we're going to talk about in the meeting. She was upset today.
Yeah.
She's a new practitioner. And we got a bunch of new people in all the spots, right? And they haven't experienced failure yet. And they'll learn real quick. They're going to learn a lot tomorrow. And when they go away from these things, this is when you realize you're not writing stuff down. You're not executing. And I think all of us are guilty that we get into our own heads of what we have to get done. But I think as a team, as a business, as a family, as a society, as a person, if we look to our left, we look to our right, we look in front of us and say, how can I help the person next to me? How can I help the person there? Then what I think happens, and I think it's more organic, is they want to help you. They want to see you succeed.
100%.
Because now they're like, you know what? As busy as he or she was, they're like, hey, look like you're getting behind on that. How can I help you?
Yeah.
Right? Then they're like, then you're going to see, hey, you're getting behind. I didn't get you organized. Let me get you set up. Let's get caught up. Like I got a bunch of catch up stuff. listen, let's talk about, right? I mean, losing Christian, you don't realize, I mean, that's a full set of pair of hands and a
Right.
whole vertical of what we did as
That was part of our conversation today.
yeah,
You know,
and I'm living it right now,
Uh-huh.
right? So we're catching up for a week and a half's worth of work by losing that one key player.
yeah,
And the one thing I would tell you was funny. Our office is streamlined, right? We're down, a couple departments. But when I looked at where we are in the numbers, I actually chuckled and said, we're not that far off the bottom line with way less overhead.
right.
This is the way. If we want to bring on team members, I don't know if I'd encourage practice to go after massive hires and this and that. Take patients that want to get better.
Yeah,
Be selective.
right.
Speak that way. We'd love to use your insurance, but unfortunately, we are a patient-centered patient. We drive with patient care, patient results. We don't take that insurance because, quite frankly, we just can't give you the care because what it pays us.
Which is okay. That's not.
And when you say that, it brings me to the point when I sit on these national conventions or international conventions where these doctors come in. I will never forget a practitioner. It was a PT, and I think by physiotherapists there, and they pay like $1 a minute. A lot of these regions don't have health insurance.
Yeah.
So you go in for $15 or 15 minutes worth of advice, and then you do the exercise on your own, or 30 minutes, $30, and they don't mess around. They literally are like bumping you out next person.
Right.
But I get it. I get it now. Somebody's got to pay to keep the power on. Our oath is to give good health care. But at the same time, the reimbursement has to kind of match that. And then you have to establish that value. Like I tell my practitioners, I'm like, what's your value? Right? When I was a personal trainer, or as a skills trainer at basketball, I would tell some of these young practitioners, I was, 15 to 20 kids in the gym and all the dads were there like, I think I just paid you $50. Did all these guys just pay $50?
Yeah.
Like, did you just make $800 or $900 for 2 hours? I'm like, yeah. How's workout? Amazing. Got a good product.
Yep.
Thank you for paying me.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
And, but it brought me back to healthcare that like I have malpractice. I have staff.
yeah.
I have a doctorate that I paid for. And I don't care whether you're a general surgeon or, a chiropractor, physical therapist, an orthopedic surgeon, neurosurgeon. One of the things that I found to be super intriguing, and I was sharing this with you, what a world of difference between European medicine or
Yeah.
international medicine, and what we do in the United States.
Right.
The way that those orthopedics spoke there, and again, I am sure there are traditional orthopedics that go right to surgery there, depending on the region and what it is. And there's obviously necessity for surgery. But these doctors were literally healing first, science first, surgical correction last.
Right.
And I think everybody in the audience was blown away, including myself. And I was
Jaw
like,
drop.
I'm like, okay, they're onto something.
Yeah.
So
No, absolutely. And even now we experience it. I mean, we have a patient right now we're treating on the PEMF that went to Europe to treat with it, fell in love with it, and was looking around. We're the only place that has it, especially in the Monmouth County area, let alone the Northeast. But I'm a firm believer in teamwork when it comes to all that. It never just takes one, and it starts from the top, right? You being the lead, Dr. Horowitz being the lead in the Red Bank office, goes to our operations, our managers, our coordinators, our techs. Everybody is responsible for a successful day. It doesn't just take one.
yeah, 100%. And, that's probably the biggest thing that I would tell anybody when you're trying to duplicate practices or any type of business. Infrastructure is everything. And everything that we had in this past 2 years and all the, good, the care was good, but the infrastructure was terrible. And the people that we had in place just weren't in it. And that's when I really should have had that Andy Frisella approach or Bidros, or listen to these guys talk. Bidros,
Yeah.
where they're like, you had to come in and literally be like, hey, you're a great person, but you're just not the right fit.
Yeah.
And, we got to part ways. And, I think where we're at now, it was, addition by subtraction.
Right.
And so again, but success is in the routine. Now we don't wait as long. Like we know with the team we have right now, who's going to work, who's not going to work. And before, I think it was, hey, we're suffering a little bit. We're, you know, this and that.
See what happens, see how it goes. We've
now we're like
realized
panic
that.
button. Hey, hire.
Yeah.
Hey, we got somebody. Let's find them.
Well,
you know?
listen, and now we've realized that we're okay. Like you've always told us, our whole team, it doesn't take 12 soldiers. It takes 3 Marines,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, I firmly believe that. And I think the one thing, and we see it right now, right? Like we're fighting through because it's in our DNA. But I'm so excited about the interview we have with the impressive young man that's coming in on Wednesday. But I will tell you that one of the things that I see is how important it is to form a team of like-minded people. And whoever that person is at the top, as much as you have to be a lead, you have to show gratitude to your people. And I saw it today and I was like, hey, I know you want to go first today and you got to pivot. And then you were like, hey, breaking out now. And I always love that. And that's one of the things I always say, he's an appreciative kid. And I say, thank you so much for going. And it's always a heart, you know? And I think that people need that, you know, they need to hear it. And it's just, I hate to say it, you know, and it's different parts of the country. I think we get so sped up here and cost of living and everything's so expensive that we forget the basics of please and thank you.
Absolutely.
And appreciating when people are bending over backwards for us. Because I'm going to tell you, like, you know, I've stopped you dead in your tracks a couple times over the last 3 weeks because I didn't realize how we were so good, but there was a left hand and right hand. And I cut off your left hand.
Yeah.
And I had said today, I go, and I'm sure I'll send a text again later reiterating it, and I'm saying now to the world, I'm sure that's every business, that you realize how valuable in your film crews, whether, clean media, you got one guy, you need this other guy to process whatever it is. But if you lose a part of that crew, you have to put them back in, you have to put somebody back into there.
100%.
And when you offer something quality, like we see what we do, the concern point is looking at the patients we have is to make absolute certain that we're doing a better job at communicating. And I think the biggest thing in communication is saying, I don't know how to do X.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do Y.
Right.
Everybody can beat on their chest and do the stuff they know. But the one thing I'm learning as I'm approaching 50, the people that I have the greatest respect for are the people that just come right out and are like, hey, I don't know how to do that. Show me real quick so I can.
I told you today, I don't know what the hell this is.
Yeah. And that's important, right? Yeah. That's super important. And I think that's where growth happens. That's where you have to realize, hey, if I want to grow my business, I have to be super familiar with everything that I do. Yeah. Obviously the care path portion, I got to be an expert, but to scale it, to grow it, I'm moving in different regions. I got to practice, open it up with my buddy, it's a practitioner down in South Carolina. I'm moving out into the dental space with regards to MedRay laser and technology, with regards to the class 4 laser for them for TMJD and other facial pain conditions they treat. And I said it today, or I said it the other day with you, I can't do that without you and a couple other guys.
Yeah.
And, because it becomes, I'm the idea person, but you're not executing.
Right.
Right. And, so to get there, that's that routine of, hey, you're checking on that idea every day. Just like grass, you don't water it, it's going to die. Yeah. And checking on that idea is then, hey, now it's got to go to the legal, make it into a company. Okay, we're a company.
Yeah.
Now go back. What do we need? We need insurance. How much is that? Put it together. What are the addresses? Go get that.
Yeah.
And is there equipment needed? How much? Go get that.
Right.
Are we financing? Are we buying? And so many of the things about success and routine that I love about today's podcast is compounding, because I've never been so intrigued by the thought of creating monthly reoccurring revenue in other businesses. And when, essentially I look at them as partners, and here they are as young entrepreneurs, and they both said, and they always call me Dr. O'Connor, and they show the highest level of respect. And one of the things that they'll say is, if you realize that if we place these machines, how much the 3 of us would make this year. And I'm I'm more touched by that. Like, I've always, like, obviously I love, being compensated for what I do, but being with the right team and making money, that's amazing.
different.
It hits
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
I think just like anything else, when you watch teams and you see high paid pro players and you go, why'd they leave? And then they say, I wasn't happy there. We didn't get along.
Yeah.
We were good enough to win. But as soon as I can get out, get the same money, or even sometimes they'll take less money
Right.
to go with
To
their
win the
friends or to win a
championship
chip,
and-
or, just be with people they like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I'm a firm believer in, team building in that sense. And it's all about winning the day, winning the week, winning the month, winning the year. Right now, we're in the middle of building that on all platforms right now. And I'm pretty blessed to be a part of it. I never really experienced going through hardships, in the workplace, outside too, with the other side businesses, but we're building back up. And right now, compared to a few weeks ago when we were going through it, we're building our team back. We got 2 interviews this week, 2 new ATCs. A month from now, we're going to be full steam ahead and engines are going to be running.
Yeah, I believe that. And I think the biggest thing is consistency is showing up. Consistency is even when God knows I tell my son this all the time. Hey, 0 for 4 lineouts, he had a good day. Ball just didn't find the ground.
Take that all day.
If we did everything we're going to do, but the outcome wasn't there, the patient would be upset, but we didn't give them a disservice.
Right.
Unfortunately, their body was going to heal. They aggravated it, whatever the case may be. And I think the one thing that I would say is, much like life, it teaches you that, hey, listen, we can only put ourselves in a position to be successful. There's no guarantee in life.
No.
Absolutely none. The only thing that I can guarantee you is that you show up every single day. You're consistent. That the doc's texting you between 4:30 and 5:30.
Absolutely.
But being consistent and really nailing that is a huge, huge part of my success and what I try to teach everybody that's around me. I tell people right now with regards to my daily wellness routine and my diet and my PEMF routine, my peptides, everything I'm on and doing and taking and supplementation and hydration, my body is recovering. I feel better. I look better. My skin looks younger. And it's all the daily routine that I preach and teach to everyone, because I'm like, hey, listen, I'm asking a lot of me. And if I want there to be anything left for anyone else, then I have to not only want to work, and there's competition, and all that kind of stuff, but I have to take care of myself, and the one common denominator, what I see of all the people that inspire me, like the Eric Thomases and Ed Milet or, Boudros and all these different guys, they're very conscientious and mindful of, what does a successful person do?
Yeah.
They journal, they plan, they stick to a plan, they set goals.
They never stand down.
One of the things that I'm looking forward to our meeting tomorrow is our team meeting with Velocity, is going over holding ourselves accountable to goals, silly goals, but goals that mean a lot in the region. Facebook reviews, testimonials,
Right.
things that you may not think you mean a lot, but it's amazing when patients say, I just read 75 amazing testimonials, right? And the bottom line is, we're still seeing hundreds and, thousands of patients, every quarter. To get 10% of them is 400 a year.
Right.
And it doesn't sound like, it sounds like a daunting task, but when you think about it,
It's not.
we grabbed 4 today in 5 minutes, So, but I think that that's probably one of the most important things that I would see is, if I'm preaching to people about why I am changing and elevating and even looking like I don't want to go horizontal, I don't want to make a lateral move, I want to be vertical. And that comes with all aspects, going from status quo to elite. That's mindset, that's planning, that's early mornings, that's whatever it takes. That's a cold plunge to wake up, to recover, to what I put into my body, what I put into my mind. And I would tell people, for me, and what's something that's been really a huge business grace and giving myself grace is the importance of that journaling and getting out what needs to come out.
Right.
And then reinforcing what needs to stay in there. And then really formulating a plan to say, what do I want to do this month, 6 months, a year, 5 years? And I would talk about it, but now what I would say is like listening to these people that are essentially, hypnotizing you into these successful routines is a direct reflection of where I want to be, need to be, and have to be. And my goal is to take my team and bring them with me.
Yeah.
I said that to you last year. And, right now I look at it like, hey, we're about to go on a run. We're going to, April's going to be an amazing month. And we're going to roll right into May, June, July and just absolutely crush it.
Without a doubt. And the biggest thing is it's easy to give up, quit, say, I'm tired, I'm aggravated, I don't want to do this anymore. But it's different when you're tired, aggravated, you stand taller, you step in the game a lot more, you're on the court a lot more, and you're all in.
Absolutely. I'm gonna close with this. I was listening to this business coach talk today, and they were talking about this program, and it was 75 hours of a really brilliant campaign. Retired Navy SEALs, mental classroom stuff, push you to the limit, pulling trucks, pulling this and that, and a business retreat for team building and really testing what you believe is your limits and realizing when you thought your level was here.
Yeah.
And then there are people that are like-minded and you realize your level's way up here.
Right.
And probably the most powerful part about the podcast I was on, they were talking about, I think this is the last of 5 years, 20 programs they ran.
Yeah.
Is that they are huge about saying, hey, don't ring the bell.
Right.
Don't quit.
Yep.
Right. You think you want to quit, right? It sucks. You're hurt. Now trauma is going to happen, right? We're going to test you physically, but mental, it's amazing what you think if you get that one more rep. And, I think that's, again, part of staying success in the routine.
Yeah.
A huge shout out to my boy ET. I haven't officially met him yet, but we're definitely coming to you soon.
In the works.
And, so I think it's a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Today's podcast is about successes in the routine. I think today was fantastic. If you guys found value in this, please share it with your friends. And of course, leave a comment for us, letting us know what you think and a favorable review, and would be so beneficial. Thank you, and we'll see you guys soon. God bless.